We don't usually discuss advertising here on Beat the Press, but every once in a while an ad campaign captures the media's attention. And that's just what happened this week with Gillette's toxic masculinity ad. Some loved it, some hated it, but everyone had an opinion. Here's a quick look.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Toxic masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long.
So I said this on the radio today. I just felt like it was overwrought. It went 1 minute and 48 seconds, and there was a sanctimony to it, and sort of this lecturing tone. The message is spot on, but for me, I felt uncomfortable watching it. And I thought the pushback was ridiculous, outrageous. I mean, why would it challenge anybody's masculinity? But the tone of it. I mean, after all, Gillette was one of the operations that promoted this kind of behavior. They're responsible for some of this. So for them now to be doing this struck me as a little sanctimonious.
I agree. I wrote something similar. I mean, I feel like the message was right. The preachiness of it made it certain to not be persuasive if that was their intent. I also think, yes, you can be a little cynical about it. I think that people at Gillette, I'm sure, felt in a heartfelt way that this was the right message. It was also market tested and vetted, to be sure.
Obviously, this was well-intentioned. Emily's heard me say that if I've done nothing else, I've raised 2 sons who are hopefully gentlemen, respectful of women, and kind to all. So this spoke to me in that sense that I embraced the general message that you can be kind and respectful without being, I hate to say it, a wimp. You can still be, whatever that is these days, manly, but still be a gentleman. And yet, to your point, it does get a little preachy. And maybe, I think it was pointed out on one of the commentaries, if it started by just showing people what, the right thing to do, as it were, and without, the broad brush of making all men look like they're bullies. And
well, as we were saying, that one moment where the guy reaches over in the boardroom and puts his hand on the shoulder of the woman after she's spoken, it's like everybody could identify with that. It's like, oh,
Well, everybody had, but I would say that a lot of people wouldn't identify with that. We know it. We 3 women sitting here, and probably you 2 guys have seen it as well. But a lot of people don't, which is why I'm in favor of showing the stuffs, because some people actually haven't seen it, Jorge. They didn't get the lessons at your house, and they need to see it so you can see this is what we're talking about. This is what's better. Now, you can call that preachy if you want to, but in these conversations that we have been having since Me Too and everything, I am amazed at what some guys actually don't think is a problem. So I'm just saying. So
I'm flabbergasted by the horrible negative responses from some guys. I don't get it.
No, that's ridiculous. Yeah. I read Chris Muther's column on this in the Globe before I saw the ad. Me too, and it was a terrific column. He wrote about how meaningful this was to him, thinking back
as growing up
as a gay kid. Yeah. Exactly. And then I watched the ad, and I didn't have any of the misgivings some of you do. Really? I thought it was terrific from start to finish. Yeah. My only misgiving, and I've heard other people say this, including one of my students the other day, is that in the end, this was done to sell razor blades, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they're trying to burnish their image so you'll think nice about them and give them more money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They were one of the ones who promoted this culture in the first place.
Yes, they are.
With some of the ads that they used
to. Absolutely.
I don't mind if you come back and pay penance for having promoted it to begin with. I don't have a problem with that.
Not paying penance.
Whatever.